Hi, my name is Brad. I'm a two-wheeled storyteller who places a high value on challenge and experience. Trust me, my pursuit of experience has brought me more than my fair share of mistakes. This series profiles those who confront two-wheeled obstacles. Riders, bikers, and racers who have become who they are by riding two wheels. They challenge themselves by confronting fear, seeking new ways to overcome obstacles. Every time we throw a leg over the bike, we riders know our safety is not guaranteed. Down the roads, through the woods, and on the track, we seek challenge over comfort. Riding two wheels has taught us many lessons which serve us on and off the bike. But all riders know the only true failure in life is the failure to try. And the only thing to fear is fear itself.
Sometimes you see bears and deer and who knows what you're going to see, but there's always a nice view here. Even if this was just fog, there's been times I come up here and it's just white and you can't see anything, but the trees are kind of peeking through. I just love that. There's something about it. The two-wheel therapy is more than just the riding. It's being out here in the woods and alone with your thoughts and processing whatever, you know. It's almost like dreaming, you know. You go to sleep at night and your brain just kind of processes through whatever, you know. I call it defragging, I guess, but it's like that with motorcycling too. You're just alone with your thoughts and you process whatever from the past or from the future even, but you're just in the moment and you're not thinking about the day-to-day grind.
Hello, my name is Andrew. I'm a father, a husband, a dog lover, and an IT professional, and I love to ride motorcycles. When I think I was 10, I had a little Suzuki DS650, a little two-stroke, had 5 gears, so I had to learn how to work the clutch and all that. My dad worked at he was building like a waterfowl preserve in Ohio. Knowing that I'd have to be spending my summers out there, my mom and dad got me this dirt bike so I could take it there and ride it. And I just rode the heck out of that bike. Awesome bike. I didn't know a whole lot about it, but I just knew that I loved it as soon as I got on it. And I could just get out there and I literally all day long, I'd go through like 3 tanks of gas on the thing, riding through the swamp and riding down this old railroad bed that, you know, didn't have any tracks or anything on it, but it was just long and flat, so I could really get going quick. And then through fields and just had a blast. And I loved it as soon as I started. As soon as I figured out how to get moving in first gear. It took a couple days of practice with that, but just I fell in love with it. And then I outgrew the bike, and then I moved on to college or whatever, you know, and completely forgot about motorcycling after that. Moved from Ohio to the Seattle area when I was late 30s, and had to commute on the ferry. A guy at work who I knew was riding saw that he had his motorcycle on his Windows background and on his computer, and started asking him about what he was riding. He had a couple dual sports on there, and we just started talking. I was like, hey, I'm thinking about getting a bike. We were just talking about different kinds of bikes, and he said, if you live here and you don't get a dual sport, you're buying the wrong bike. So he made some recommendations to look at for different dual sports, and I settled on the Honda CRF 250L, which was kind of an entry-level dual sport, perfect for commuting what I was doing. And from there, we started talking some more, and then he invited me out on a ride in the woods, just poking around the Olympic National Forest. And from there, I was hooked. This is what I want to do on a motorcycle. It really tied me back to where I was riding when I was a kid, just through the woods, you know, bombing down gravel roads or a railroad bed and through mud, and I discovered the whole moto camping scene and the same stuff, you know, the lightweight stuff. I could just put that on the bike and go, and that was really the hook that got me into it. So.
Oh yeah, I got on the wrong side of the. Is this a video opportunity here?
How does that look though? That's getting pretty steep. The opportunities it's opened up just to get out and meet people, ground myself. My wife says when we moved out here, I really opened up from what I used to be. And it's not just the location, it's the motorcycle. I'm much more comfortable being around people. I'm much more comfortable parking, much more comfortable going to places that I've never been, be it out and about like this or just even in the city. There's things I probably would never have done if I didn't have a motorcycle. Yeah, it's been an adventure, and really my online presence as Randomly Trees started before I started actually filming and putting my stuff on YouTube. I did a lot more on Instagram at first, but I was involved in other parts of the motorcycle community online, and just made contacts with people that were local and interested in riding and better riding skill than me, or newer to the hobby or sport or whatever you want to call it. Just through that, just meeting people, being out, meeting people of similar interests, and it kind of encouraged me, like, hey, I might as well record some of this stuff and share it, and you know, just share my thoughts while I'm riding around. Something I never would have done before, you know, just leaving that kind of anxiety behind of opening up to the world at large, really. The folks that I've met and watch my stuff on a regular basis, meeting and talking to them and hoping to meet them. You know, they're scattered all over the country, and yeah, just really, it's the social thing of social media that I really enjoy. So having that presence on YouTube kind of opens me up to more of that, where if I didn't have that, I don't know how many more people I'd be meeting. Another aspect of it to me is you're your own audience when you're in the helmet, and sometimes there's things I'll talk about or record while I'm riding that they never see the light of day, but just being able to process that and talk through it with it being recorded, it's almost like keeping a journal that nobody's ever going to see, but it's got a certain level of catharsis to it. So.
What's going on here? Did you break it?
Well, just lost a bolt, worked itself loose. This one's coming loose, and this one holds my muffler on, so I got to take this one out, put it up here to hold the muffler on. I'll just carry the rack home.
How'd that happen?
It happens. Adventure. It's one of those things.
Well, at least we've got a nice view while you do it.
Yeah. All right.
Being more connected with what you're riding you're traversing through an area in a car, or a truck or whatever. You're in a bubble. On the bike, you're plugged into everything: the smells, the sights, the feel of the wind, the temperature of the road radiating up on you, or the rain hitting you. Just from that, everything is more visceral. You're more connected. You're more open to everything, and then just the experience is more real just because of that. Because you're already more receptive because of everything that's coming at you. You know, you're not closed off. And I think that's just the beginning of what riding a motorcycle is about. It can be a lot of different things for a lot of different people, but at the start of it, it's that you're in the moment. You're not seeing it like through a windscreen.
So one of the things that has had me worried is obviously getting hurt or getting stuck somewhere, or that I'll see something that I don't think I can get over or through, or up or down. I haven't done any kind of formal training on the bike. It's something I plan to do, but there's a lot of online videos or things where they give you tips on how to position yourself, or how to be in the athletic stance, keep your elbows out, and so that's something that it's a mantra that I kind of repeat to myself sometimes when I'm going over something that's a little bit maybe sketchy or a little bit outside of my comfort zone. I'll just keep your eyes up, elbows out, knees bent, things like that. So there's still times where I'll just get a feeling, I'm not gonna do this today, and that's something that if I'm by myself, which a lot of times I prefer to ride solo. There's a lot of things I probably would do if I was with somebody that I wouldn't do by myself, because that fear is still there. I'm probably capable of doing some of the things I've turned around on. So I'm still fighting that, really. And if you don't ever allow yourself to push through that, you're never going to grow. You're never going to get better. You're just going to stagnate. So I think in life on the motorcycle, it's all the same. You're going to grow when you push yourself through something that you aren't comfortable doing.
Do you think you would have done something like this maybe before you were riding a motorcycle? Allowed somebody to film you? And
I wouldn't have come to your house, no. I mean, I would probably not, no. I would have been super nervous, and I certainly wouldn't have felt like I had much to talk about. So that's the other thing. Like, what would I talk about? What do I do that's interesting? I sit at a computer all day, Now I'm riding a motorcycle in the mountains and in the woods, and to me that in and of itself is much more interesting than most things I've done in my life. So the heart of it for me is just getting out, like I said, defragging, getting the mind reset. And sometimes you just sometimes really you kind of get, at least I get stuck with the notion at home that I can't get away. I can't take time to get away. And even if it's like a 15-minute ride, sometimes that's all it takes. You don't need that long just to reconnect with yourself, I guess. You don't have to go somewhere else every time. You don't have to go somewhere new every time. It's more about being on the bike.
And you do it on the mighty DR.
Yes, I do.
DR650.
Yep.
So has the DR lived up to the expectations that you had for it when you got the bike?
Oh, more than lived up. It's been a great bike. I came from a 250. I rode that for the start of my riding career, and I wanted the DR to be able to get out further, and also, is it the most capable bike? Arguably, yes. People would say no way, but it can do everything. How can you say that's not one of the most capable bikes? Army knife. Yeah. Yep. It'll cut through things eventually. Yeah. And it has a screwdriver and a can opener and all that stuff too. So it's there when you need it. It can be a commuter, it can be a tourer, it can be a street bike, it can be a mountain road bike. Not that I ride on single track, but I've seen people do it, and they make it look easy. So it's a platform that you can build how you want. You start it with a blank canvas, and you just add to it, and it becomes what you want. And that's what I've done. So in the DR, you just need bubble gum and Band-Aids or something, and it'll fire back up, and away you go. Yeah, it's been an awesome bike. No regrets buying it. I knew there were going to be some things I had to work on to make it perform better, but I didn't have to do a whole lot. Well, the seat for one, the stock seat, if you're going to be on a long trip, you're going to pay for it. The stock seat is just horrible. Seat upgrade you got to get. You just need to if you're going to spend any time on the saddle, unless you hate your ass. So hand warmers, for me, I ride in the Pacific Northwest. I ride all 4 seasons, unless there's ice on the road. Those, I've never had them before until this bike. Total game changer. It doesn't just warm your hands. That's what I found. It warms the blood, which warms your arms. Just makes you feel overall more warm. Love those. The tank, the stock tank is pretty small. If you're going to go on any ride of length, especially when you're out like this or more remote, and you don't want to be tied to going back to the gas station every, what was it, maybe 150 miles, I think is what I was getting. A larger tank is important, so that's another one. Also the skid plate, bash plate, it comes with no protection, no engine protection, and it's just you got to have that if you're going to be off-road, or chances are you're going to be in a world of hurt. You may not, but why take that chance? It's an easy attachment to make. And then the hand guards, you got to have those because you're going to be falling, and you don't want to be damaging your controls. It comes with those kind of wimpy plastic things, and they're not worth anything. They'll keep the wind off your hands at best.
Maybe a leaf.
Yeah, yep.
But not a stick.
Nope. They just, you can just move them with your hand, so not even worth having them on there. As far as essential pieces of kit, I'd say that's it. You don't have to have a tool tube, but it certainly helps to have somewhere to just carry your tools permanently. And some people will say it's ugly. I don't think it's ugly at all. It's an awesome bike. Yep. I'll have one as long as I'm riding. I'm going to have a DR. Hopefully this one, if it makes it that long, but we'll see. Once we decided we were going to do the Washington BDR, I started to just, verify the gear I had was up to snuff, make sure I had everything like that I thought I would need. Having never done the whole thing, which we had planned to do, I wasn't sure how much food I should take or how much clothes I should take. Had no idea how hot it was going to get, so that caught me by surprise. But I kind of had an idea of the route. I bought the Butler maps, started reviewing that just so I'd have an idea of, this is the difficult sections. These are how much distance to the next fuel stop, and just making sure, hey, I can go that far, assuming no issues without having to fill up. I'll be okay. Making sure I had enough water, making sure that the bike was in good shape, did all my maintenance, got new tires before the trip, just so I'd have as much level set as I could with the bike, so I wouldn't, nothing would hopefully come up to surprise. Checked the tire pressure and all that. I try to do that before every longer ride, is make sure everything is up to snuff, all the maintenance is ready, tires are in good shape, chain's in good shape. Don't want any mechanical surprises if you can avoid it. And then it was really making sure that I was prepped. I started doing more stretches, things like that, making sure, because we were planning to go, I think, 5 days, which was, for me, after not having been on a trip that long, that was a lot for me. So just doing stretches, doing squats, trying to strengthen the legs, getting a little bit more flexible, because seat time, it can wear you down in ways you don't expect. So and then just understanding the route, knowing where the hard parts are,
deciding kind of ahead of time, hey, if somebody else doesn't want to do this, am I okay not doing that part? And that kind of preparation, just, you know, understanding who is going, what their ideas are too, because you're not alone. You kind of have to make group decisions. So that's really most of the prep that I did was around those kind of aspects. To me, having enough water was a safety thing. It actually became one of the big key factors of I think it was the second or third day where we almost ran out of water. So had I not been carrying as much as I was, I would have been in trouble. I think all of us would have. Day 1 was getting there for me.
Okay.
Day 2 was section 1, part of section 2. Day 3 was Clemon Mountain, which was the other Baby Head Hill, and that's where we ran into trouble. It was exceedingly hot. I think it was when Western Washington had their hot streak, that, you know, the record highs in Seattle. Well, it was hot out there too. It's always hot out there in the summer. So the day started off normal, but you could feel the heat was coming. There was smoke in the air. We hadn't had smoke in the air yet, so you could smell it, and it was kind of making your throat scratchy. So we got a decent early start. First part of the ride, we had a couple falls that were just incidental falls, nothing big, including myself. It was the first time I had fallen. Wasn't hurt, bike was okay. Laughed it off, kept going. Then we got to Clemon Mountain. Baby Head Hill was a bit further, so I wasn't expecting this. And we round this corner, and you immediately start up, and it's these big chunky kind of lava rocks that don't settle in together. It's all kind of mishmash because of 4x4 traffic, and I wasn't carrying enough speed, and my buddy on comms says, I think this is Baby Head Hill, and I'm like, it got me. It got me, and it was like boom, right in the head. I slowed down, and I said, I didn't say it, but I know in my head I was like, you're gonna crash, and sure enough, I crashed. I hit a rock. I'm still on the stock suspension, so the bike was a little bit unpredictable. I hit a rock. I was going too slow. The bike went kind of sideways on the hill, and over I went, and big chunky rock hit me right in the side, right in the probably the lower 2 or 3 ribs, and I immediately knew I was hurt because it hurt. It knocked the wind out of me. Kind of rolled over, tried to laugh it off, and that hurt to laugh like immediately. And my buddy behind me came up, and, you know, I said, no, take a picture first. I got to get that out of the way. So he did that before I even got up, and he helped me up. My other buddy who had come down, he walked back down. He helped me stand the bike up, kind of assess the damage. The bike looked okay, and I was okay. They kind of helped me get back on the bike, so it was really awkward to stand the bike up there. And I rode up the rest of the way, that little bit. But then there's another section. You come around another corner. It's almost the same situation, and it was, you know, jostling around. I got to that and I couldn't do it. It was just too much shaking to push through with the way the rib was hurting already. My friend actually rode the bike up that little bit, and then we stopped at the top. There was this wonderful tree, the only tree there giving shade. There was a nice breeze, and it must have been 10 degrees cooler under that tree, and we just kind of stopped and assessed. Little did we know that the worst part was coming. The heat just went up, and there was more smoke because there were more fires, I guess, starting in the area or somewhere nearby. The dust, there's like this really fine, like volcanic dust up there, and it was just blowing. The heat was just so oppressive, we started just feeling our water supply dwindle, and I have to go slow because I'm hurt. Every little shake, every little jolt was just like a fist, like just hitting me there, and trying to go back down the other side of that mountain. It was just rough. It was brutal, and I fell. I think I fell 2 more times just because I had to stop in weird places in order to tense myself up, to brace myself to get through. Anybody would do that. We actually had passed some guys in 4Runners that were coming back saying, hey, the gate's locked. You guys can't get through that way. And I'm like, guys, there's no way I can ride back. And we don't have enough water. So we ended up getting to that gate, and we bent open that thing with a pair of tire spoons and got out and rode to Yakima, and all of us were like, it's just too hot. It's too dangerous now. And we all decided that was it. We were done. So we stayed in a hotel.
In the moment, it really sucked. But after, it was really good memories. We laugh about it. We went, and that night we stayed in a hotel and had probably the best shower, the best meal, the best beer. Nothing that would have shined any other time, but just being with those two guys and having that camaraderie and getting everybody through. I was the injured one, but they helped me pick the bike up. They helped me get up the rest of the hill, and really that kind of tied us together. Like I consider those guys lifelong friends now, just because we did all that together. So yeah, definitely one of those things that in the moment feels pretty crappy, but after the fact feels pretty great.
None of us really regret the decision, but we all want to go back. And I definitely want to ride that dang mountain. And Baby Head Hill, the real Baby Head Hill. I'm going to do it. That's my goal. So the biggest one for me is I can't let stuff like that get in my head. That is what caused the crash. It wasn't skill. It wasn't the bike. It was my brain. I knew it was going to happen, and what happened? It happened. I need to look past obstacles. There was a YouTuber that rides a DR, if I could call him out, Skids and Stuff. He's in Australia. Something that he said in one of his videos was, look at the obstacle ahead of you when it's further away. It looks smaller then. So it seems smaller to surmount. So really that's my goal, is to focus past the obstacle. I can get there. I don't have to crash. I'm not even going to think the word crash. It's really get past that mental block and I've used it already, where I've let myself see something and think, I start to go down that road like, oh shit, but I immediately pull back and I'm like, nope, look past it, look up, eyes up, get past it. And it's not going to work every time, but if I tell myself I'm going to crash, I'm going to crash. That's just how it works. It's target fixation, whether with your eyes or your brain. These little outings that I do, I'll find something that maybe I felt was too challenging or a little worrisome, and I'll do it, and I'll look past it just like I need to, and that just builds up that mental will or the stamina in your brain that you can do this. You've done it before. It doesn't have to be a crash. Look past it, get past it. That's a growth thing too, not being comfortable. If you're comfortable all the time, you're not growing, you're not learning. So I'm starting to open myself up to that potential of going to foreign lands to ride and see things. And that's what I'm going to do. Just get out there and do it. That's the big part of it. It's always going to be an obstacle until you're past it, and even if you don't go back and do it, it's still an obstacle. So why let it sit? Go out and do it.
Oh no, anxiety creeps up on me. Is this how it's supposed to feel? Tell me when it's over, I got someplace that I gotta be. It won't leave. My friends say, get out of your comfort zone, it's a blessing in disguise. Get out of what you call home, your name is written in the sky. It might feel just like you're on your own, but baby, it's another lie. Remember you were made. I try to work